I'm just like you, you're just like me. We can't stop watching these movies. Is it a curse? No, it's a dream come true. Yes, I'm a Barbie girl like you. Hey everybody, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Briana.
And you're listening to Barbie, the Princess, and the Podcast, a chronological deep dive into the fever dream that is the Barbie cinematic universe. And this show is not made for kids, despite what you might think from the movies we cover. On this month's episode, we are diving into Barbie's first original movie, the first movie that isn't based on any other existing property.
You're right, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
That being Barbie Fairytopia. And I remember this one because this is where Bibble shows up, but there's a lot of stuff that I didn't remember that might be worse than
Yeah,
Bibble.
I'd say so. I didn't think there could be anything worse than Bibble, but watching this back, there definitely is.
Yeah. This is also the first movie that doesn't feature a celebrity voicing the main villain, which
Yeah,
is unfortunate.
I know.
I guess they
I'm
drew
kinda
the
sad
line at
about it.
Fairytopia. You
What,
know
nobody
what?
wanted to take on the role?
Yeah. We'll do Princess and the Pauper. I'll do Swan Lake. I'll do Rapunzel. I'm not doing Fairytopia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever this shit is. Not on board.
Yeah. So in this movie, Barbie as Alina has to save Fairytopia from Laverna, who is trying to take over by kidnapping the guardians of this world and stealing their power. It's kind of confusing because
Yeah.
Laverna, she is trying to become the ruler of this world, right? And she basically has two separate plans. One plan
Yes.
is to she creates this poison basically that causes fairies to, they say, stop flying, but it seems more like they have difficulty flying because they can still do it,
Yeah, that's a
but
goddamn lie.
but apparently just to make it more difficult, she seems to think it's make them stop flying, but it makes it more difficult. And then
Yeah.
so on that, she's like, okay, well, if I do this and then I create the antidote, then everyone's going to love me, and then they will make me the queen, basically.
But if they know she caused the sickness, why are they gonna love her?
Right, which is why maybe she has this second plan of kidnapping all of the guardians, and then they each have a necklace that has power
Mhm.
inside of it, and then
Mhm.
she's going to suck the power out of the necklaces and give it to herself. But then why was the first I have a couple of questions. Why was the first thing even necessary? It really
What,
wasn't
the
to have the
poison?
poison.
Oh,
If the
yeah.
Yeah, if the goal of the poison was to make the people love you, apparently that wasn't even necessary because all you needed to do was get the power from the necklaces.
I think she just wanted to make people suffer. She was just cruel.
And then the other question is, did she actually need the guardians there? Or could she have just
Oh,
taken
could
the
she just take
necklaces?
their necklaces?
Yeah.
You'd think that would be
Yeah,
easier.
right.
You're so right, I didn't think about that, but you definitely didn't need them all there. You could have just taken their jewelry.
Yeah, so there's a couple of questions with Laverna's tactics here.
Yeah. Oh, and her twin sister is the enchantress who's the ruler of Fairytopia, and she, like, I don't know if she captures her or puts her under some kind of
Yeah, she
sleeping
basically
spell.
poisons her. She at one point says, "Oh, she was way too trusting when I told her to, you know, to take this thing or whatever." Yeah, so
Yeah.
oh, yeah. There was a line where one of the guardians was, like, it's like, what did you do to her? And the queen and Laverne is like, "Oh, come on, she's fine. She's just very, very sick." I
she'll
don't. I
she'll
don't.
pull through.
Yeah, I don't think that's the definition of fine.
Yeah, she looked pretty dead.
Yeah. Apparently not. Apparently she was fine. But because our main character, Alina, does not have wings as a fairy, that means that she is unaffected by Laverna's spell and she can be the hero. So since our main character, Alina, doesn't have wings, she is unaffected by Laverna's kind of crappy spell that doesn't actually make you stop flying, but just makes it harder. So
Yeah,
now she is the one who is tasked with saving Fairytopia.
she is the chosen one.
Yes. Uh her jumping right into the start of the movie, there's a point where there's fairies flying around her and I could not get a handle on the sizes of all of these different fairies. Some of them looked
Yeah,
incredibly small and then some of them were normal size. Like her friend Dandelion is normal. Is a normal sized
yeah.
fairy, but then there are some that are flying around her and they're tiny, but I didn't know if that was just a weird like the viewing angle that I was
Like the
looking at.
perspective.
Right. I think they're small, but they're not
I think you're right. They're
but they're
small.
not like pixies because there were other pixies later on in a very weird
Well, but
scene or
in the
or
subtitles, they were
sprites, I
actually
guess.
called they're called pixies.
Oh, they are pixies.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we have the pixies, we have fairies, and we have sprites. That's what it was. The sprites are the other ones,
And trolls, but they
and
don't have
trolls.
wings.
Yeah, and they look the same as other
Just
fairies.
smaller.
Yeah, it's really weird because usually when you have like the the pixies, they look different. Like you can tell that they're really small, but they look exactly the same. It's just weird when you zoom out and show Alina and
Yeah. The whole sizing in this universe is very strange because already like Elena's small. She's a fairy because you see these massive flowers that she's like lounging on and she
she
lives
lives in
inside
one.
a
Yeah.
flower. Yeah. So either I guess the flowers are giant in this world or like Elena and the fairies are small. So you have the already small fairies and then you have even smaller fairies, the pixies. And then are the sprites different? Are they even smaller?
I think so. They were kind of small. We only saw them like a couple of times in a very random scene where she just like pitches a ball to Bibble
Oh.
in between the sprites.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Like she's a great pitcher too.
Yeah.
She like fucking obliterates Bibble.
The flower sprites looked incredibly lost. Like they were just standing there with these dead ass expressions on their face.
And they did not want to be near Bibble either. They kind of like
No,
looked at him and then just kind of like stepped away.
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah. Well, so the tiny fairies are also really bitchy,
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
roasting
bullying.
Alina.
Yeah, they're like, wingless fairy, what's wrong with you? Just being like absolutely horrible.
They had a really awful joke that just didn't make any sense. It was like, well, what do you call a fairy without wings? Nothing. Who would want to call a wingless fairy? And it's
Oh,
like,
damn.
I,
Yeah, got her.
I don't think the second line makes sense. What do you
Well,
call?
like,
Who would want to call? I like
I
call
think
being
they're
like
saying,
call on the
oh,
phone or like call out to. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I don't think they have phones, so I'm
Yeah,
guessing it's like call as in like, hey, hello.
yeah, but I don't know. When I heard that, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense in terms of the first part was like, what do you call like a name or like a nickname or something?
Yeah, it's not a
Who
good
would want to
joke.
call a wingless fairy? Yeah, they're really annoying.
But yeah, but luckily Dandelion blows them away with her bigger wings because she's a lot bigger than they are.
And then we get our introduction to Bibble. My first thought was he
No.
sounded like a smoker in, in the first bit. He had a very raspy voice. I didn't notice it as much later on, but some of the early lines, for some reason, he just had like a really raspy sound.
Yeah,
Bibble be chain smoking here.
I guess. Now that you mention it, I do kind of recall him sounding that way.
Yeah, it's
Um,
weird because as it goes on, I didn't really hear that too much anymore. But in those first couple of lines, he he sounds really raspy.
Maybe he stopped smoking finally.
Hopefully. Actually, no, I kind of want him to smoke because then it'll lower his lifespan.
Yeah. Oh, Bibble. I think it's a good opportunity for us to do our Bibble voices.
Like that. Oh. Oh.
I always thought he was saying Alina Poo, like Poo, but in the subtitles it says he's saying Alina Puff,
That
like
was
Alina.
Puff? He did
Maybe
not say
Poof.
Puff at all.
He left off the F.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because he's a puffball. That's his species, I
Okay,
guess.
yeah.
So I guess he puts puff in there, but it's not. It doesn't sound like puff. It sounds like poo.
Yeah, and most of his speech just sounds like nonsense, but then he'll put in random words, like normal words in there,
Yeah,
and
like
it's just
at one
very
point he
weird.
says like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like,
okay.
so you can speak normally, like a little bit?
He just chooses not to most of the time. Yeah, whenever Bibble speaks, I love the subtitles call it him gibbering.
Gibbering. Wow.
Yeah, every time he speaks, it's like gibbering questioningly or gibbering sarcastically.
What?
And that's a good description for what he's doing.
I guess so. Yeah.
He's gibbering.
He is gibbering. They didn't want to say bibbling.
Yeah, speaking Bibblese.
Bibblese, yeah.
Isn't that on the wiki?
Yeah, I was having a hard time on the Barbie wiki. They have removed Bibble's entry. Bibble doesn't have an
What?
entry on there. His girlfriend in later movies does, but he doesn't.
Oh my god, a travesty. Who's trying to
Yeah.
censor Bibble? I mean, I guess I would, but
Yeah.
somebody's like, I've had enough.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Bibble is just not on there really.
He's been erased from the Barbie universe. Somebody's wishful thinking.
Yeah, somebody just wanted to remove him, get rid of him.
Yeah, I guess. That's so funny though, because I remember us reading his wiki and like reading up on his special language.
Yeah, they had a whole thing. They had a whole thing about his language, and they have since removed it or something.
That's so sad. Yeah, we were gonna learn his language.
Yeah, but they don't want us to. They don't
That's a
want us to have
shame.
that knowledge.
The forbidden knowledge.
I mean, what will we do with that knowledge? We
It's too
could rule the world
powerful.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we move along here? Alina's house is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like her flower house, and then it kind of just like opens up for her. I also like that it closes for Bibble and doesn't let him in.
Yes, it locks him out. I'm like, I don't want you in
Just
here.
like,
Keep him
ew,
out. Yeah, but then
please.
he goes blah 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 blah, and then
Eh,
the
and
flower
then
opens
it
up
opens
again.
up. Or no, or
Yeah.
does it open or does he just scoot in? Does it open
It
back up?
opens like the tiniest bit, and he scoots in.
Like, all right, fine. I'll let you
I
in here.
guess.
God.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but her house is
Yeah, the
super cool.
flower. Yeah, it's like alive, and it opens. At one point, it like plays a lullaby for her to help her go to sleep. It's very nice.
Yeah. But then the next day, apparently, this poison that Laverna is spreading kills like everything. She
Oh yeah,
talks
it
about
kills the
it.
flowers.
She talks about it like it just makes it hard, or it just stops fairies from flying, but it destroys these flowers. It
Yeah, that seems worse than the whole like flying sickness that doesn't really affect people, but it's
yeah,
like killing the ecosystem.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
seems like the pressing issue.
yeah, I agree. And so Alina sees her precious house, I guess, plant, house plant, uh, dying, and she's like, "Ah, we gotta go. I gotta fix this. Let's go to Fairy Town and talk to Azura, who's the guardian fairy in their area." And Dandelion accompanies her most of the way, but then she gets struck with the flying sickness and has to go home, leaving Alina to find Azura on her own.
Seems to just be affecting people in random intervals.
Yeah,
Like
when it's relevant to the plot.
exactly. Like, oh, that was exactly the moment when it was sprayed in that location.
Yep. And you know what I noticed is that Bibble is never affected by the flying sickness.
It's true.
He has those tiny little wings,
And he's fine? Yeah,
and
what?
he's a-okay.
What? I didn't notice that, but there are other characters that we'll get to later that have wings that aren't fairies that get affected. So Bibble should
He's
also be
immune.
affected. Okay, so Bibble should be the one doing this whole thing.
Yeah, Bibble should be the chosen one.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, right? I didn't remember that before, but I also didn't remember like half of this movie, and I think it's because I watched it to fall asleep all the time. So I remember the first 20 minutes really well,
Yeah.
but then the rest of it I'm just like what is happening?
Yeah, it gets wild.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so Alina goes to see Azura. Azura has this really sweet pad. She's got like a mansion in, I guess, fairy terms.
There
Um,
was a moment where she goes into Fairy Town and she's like, "Oh, we got to find this tunnel into Fairy Town." And they find it and they go in and they just end up in Town Hall. Is Town Hall like the entrance to the entire town?
I
Like you
guess
have
so.
like is how does the guy know? There's like a little elf guy there who basically doesn't allow her in. Does he not allow in people that he doesn't know that live there? Like what if they have visitors? Do they have to run it by him?
I guess so. He's cracking down on security.
But she makes it in, she tricks him and follows a guy uh to her house,
Right, that's how she
to
gets there.
Azura's
She
house. And
stalks this guy.
this world is not built for people without wings. I don't know how she survives. I guess her town, her fairy area is a little bit better about that, but
Yeah, they don't have many accommodations for fairies without wings. It's not
because even
very.
in Azura's house, she has to ride this little like fairy cup or the flower cup to like get around in her house.
Yeah, she can't even navigate this house.
It is a nice house
Like,
though.
yeah. Alina can't be the only wingless fairy, right? There's got to be other fairies who also don't have wings. I
You
mean,
would
we don't
think.
meet any of them, but
Yeah,
yeah, I would think that's a
if it's
thing that
possible for one
happens.
to happen, then you would think that there would be others that don't have
Yeah.
wings.
and that this world should be more aware and accommodating to fairies without wings instead of fucking bullying them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like anyone that's different.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Like, Azura doesn't trust Elena at first. She thinks that Elena's coming to kidnap her, like all the other guardian fairies. But then she sees this little spark of a rainbow in Elena's eyes, and
Yep.
she's like, "Oh, you're good. All right, I can let you in."
I've seen the rainbow in your eyes. You're safe.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's apparently a thing. Like, if you have the rainbow in your eyes, you're destined for great things.
Yeah. She's also
Apparently,
got a table set up with all of the like cups and plates, and the table is all set out. And
for like
Alina's
7
just like,
people.
"Oh, are we going to wait for your other friends to show up?" It's like, "Oh no, these are just for the friends I haven't met yet." And that just sounded incredibly sad.
I know, I'm like, oh my god, but you're one of the guardian fairies. You should have a bunch of
Like, do you
friends.
not have any friends? And you're
I,
just waiting for them now? Because this
I'm
implies
pretty
that
sure.
you have like a max of 7 friends and you don't have any of them yet.
Yeah, she's just waiting. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a metaphor for like being like caring about people who you don't
Oh yeah.
know.
Like it has
but
a good
but it
message, but with the table it looks really sad and kind of stupid.
yeah, and it's also like a waste of resources. Like,
And
she's
also
pouring tea for all these people who aren't here.
how long are those sitting there? Does she have this table set up for years waiting for these possible
Just
friends who
waiting.
never show up?
That is really sad. Well, but she's like, "Oh, Elena, you've been on a long journey. Sit down and eat something." But she doesn't serve Elena anything, so Elena doesn't eat. But she does give Bibble a bowl of what looks like Captain Crunch. Oops, all
Yeah.
berries.
It does kind of look like that, but kind of like goo as well,
Yeah,
like
at the same
not
time.
crunchy, just a bowl of like
Yeah.
Captain Crunch goo.
And Bibble just like shoves his head in it.
Bibble's the only one that gets food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true in like the other movies too in the series, in the Fairytopia universe. Bibble's like the only one that eats.
Bibble's just hungry at all
Yeah.
times
He hungers.
for flesh.
He must appease him with Captain Crunch berries.
And so Azura is going to go out on this journey to go and see what the druid or
A
something.
dryad.
A dryad.
Yes.
Why do I think druid? What is
Another type of fairy, but she's just a
okay? A
fairy.
dryad. Yeah, and so she's gonna head out in the morning, and she decides to give Alina her necklace, and she takes forever to take this necklace off.
It's really
She is
awkward.
standing there with her hands, behind her head, doing the thing to unhook the necklace, and she kind of just stays there for a little
And
while.
just stares at Alina and is like way too close.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's my
I'm gonna
necklace.
I'm gonna give you this necklace. Here
I
you go. Just slowly taking this thing off.
mean, sometimes necklaces are hard to take off. The clasps can be hard
But
to
she
deal
wasn't
with,
doing
but
anything. Her arms were stationary once they were behind her head. They were not moving.
okay, well, then she has no excuse for being so slow and
But
creepy.
apparently Azura knows that the necklace is kind of the key. Unlike the other guardians didn't seem to take any other precautions.
Yeah, they were kind of oblivious.
Because Azura knows.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she gets kidnapped the next day by the fungus, and man, the fungus are kind of gross. They're also like all the same.
Yes,
Completely
I
the same.
noticed. Yes, exactly the same because they all have like a hole in the toe of their right foot, I
Yeah.
think,
And it's
and
their
they're
big
like
toe
toes
for every
popping
single
out.
one. Yeah. Every
Yeah.
single one of them has a hole in their shoe. Yeah, there's a scene later
Yeah.
on. I don't know why, but I thought that there was a main fungus or something.
Oh,
But
there
there
is. He comes in Mermaidia.
Okay,
You'll get to
that's
see
where it
him
was.
there.
I was expecting it in
Yeah.
this movie, but they all look the same.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, that all the fungus are voiced by the same person who voices Bibble.
Wow, he's pulling weight here. All the
Hmm.
nasty characters.
Yeah. He's good at it.
Yeah. So the fungus kidnap Azura, and so now Alina has to go on this journey that Azura was going to go on.
Hmm.
And she gets
And
rescued by, I think, the most hideous character it's definitely the most hideous character I've seen so far. I don't know if
yeah,
that'll
it's
hold true
bad.
through the rest of Barbie, but Azura basically calls in her friend who didn't want to come to dinner, and
Yeah, we're friends.
that being Hugh, and he has the most disturbing face. He has he's like a bug almost.
He's a giant butterfly.
Oh, it's a butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, and he has massive eyes. He's got the makeup on as well. He has this one
Hmm.
blob of hair on his head that looks like a leaf. And he's
Yeah.
also got basically skin colored clothes. Like, he is blue. His skin is basically blue, but his jacket that he is wearing is also a similar shade of blue. So it's almost like he is naked, but he's not.
Yeah, it kind of blends into his skin,
Yeah.
his
And
flesh suit.
his voice does not match his appearance whatsoever.
Yeah, he's got this like British accent, and I think he's supposed to come across as like dashing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it very much clashes with his character design.
His look. Yeah. He is okay. He is
Yeah.
a butterfly. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, he's got these bags under his eyes. The makeup is hilarious to me. He's got like the mascara and like pink eyeshadow. And he's got like a bobblehead almost. He's got this like skinny neck and then this head that just
His
kind
head
of
is
like,
huge.
yeah, it's way too big and bulbous.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just nasty all around. His head is
Yeah,
gross.
like
I hate how big his eyes are. The hair patch is weird. His voice doesn't fit him at all. His skin and clothes make him look naked when he's flying around.
yeah, you just hate to look at him.
Yeah, and he has a lot of screen time.
Yeah, he was a part that I totally forgot. Like I remembered him, but I did not he's like a major character and I did not remember that. I remember Bibble, but not this monstrosity.
Yeah, it's nasty, and he's got even worse scenes as we move along.
Mhm. Yep, we get to see more of Hugh. And I think Elena was kind of freaked out about him too because when he arrives to rescue her, he goes, "Get on my back." And she's just like, "No."
Ew, why would I do
It's like,
that?
"No thanks."
I'm getting taken in by the elf. I'm not riding that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, cuz the weird elf from the town hall comes to try to catch her.
Yeah,
Um
because he thinks that she is the one that captured Azura or did something to Azura. So,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and then oh yeah, he says things like or the butterfly Hugh, he goes like tally ho, just like very British
She's got to lean really heavily into the random British accent.
for
We've
whatever
always got to have
reason.
some weird accent. We had
Hmm.
the Brooklyn dog in the last
the
one.
the Cockney British accent.
Yeah,
Um,
they always got to have some character that's just got a weird accent that doesn't fit. Like I don't know why he has that.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like this, like almost not quite posh, but he's definitely got that kind of like dashing like rescue voice. I don't know, but it does not match his uh his character.
Yeah, so I hate Hugh. Hugh is awful.
Yeah.
We get a cutaway scene where we go to Laverna as she is collecting the guardians. She's trying to get all of them together so that she can steal the power of the necklaces. Um, Ruby is one of them, and Ruby is incredible.
I
He's my
love Ruby.
tag. Ruby is
Nice.
my
Love
tag.
that.
So, he gets captured, and Laverna is, feeding them all this food. And so he's
Mhm.
just watching
Oh,
he's just watching Topaz just like munching on all this food.
now that you say that, Kevin, Topaz was my tag.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. I love I love my food." If I got captured, I would totally just eat whatever they gave me and be like, "Mm,
Why not?
delicious." But yeah, yeah, it's here.
So there's a scene where Laverna she's got a diagram of how her plan is going to work. And then Ruby points out that he's bigger than all the other guardians, but they're all the same
Yeah.
size in her stick figure drawing of the guardians. So then
Yeah,
Laverna's like,
he's
"All
like,
right."
I'm taller."
And then she just makes his neck longer. And he's like, "Well, now
Yeah.
I just look like a giraffe." He's just so sassy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
he
Ruby.
was great. Mhm.
But then there is a goof in this scene. Did you notice?
No?
So she captures Laverna. Or no,
Wait.
Laverna captures Azura, right?
Yes.
And at the beginning of the scene, there are 4 guardians sitting in the chairs. Then
Okay.
it cuts away for a second, and when it cuts back, there are 6. 2 of them just
Whoa.
appear because
What?
she's saying that she has caught all of the guardians because now she has Azura. But in the earlier scene, when Ruby was doing his whole thing, there was only 4 of them. It cuts away, and when it cuts back to them again, 6 of them are there, and the one chair is open for Azura.
Was it implied that time had passed?
No, it was the same scene. It
Oh,
was
okay.
definitely the same scene.
Wow. I did not pick up on that.
Yeah. So in the time that the camera had cut away and she was talking to Azura, all of these guardians had just appeared.
Hmm, hmm. Maybe the fungus just, like, carried him in and
It just
threw
dumped them
him
on
in
there
there.
right before.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it does not make any sense.
Yeah, so there's the goof. That's the first goof that I have specifically noticed because we go through the goofs that appear on the wiki, but that was the first one that
Mhm.
I definitely noticed. It was very weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't notice that. Seems very obvious.
When we cut back to Hugh and Alina and Bibble, and they're all flying across the landscape, there's a scene where they're flying over this river, and the landscape is just so barren. It is just nothing. It is just this river with grass. And that's kind of one of the things I noticed about some of these areas that they're flying to. It's just not great to look at. I don't know. The
Hmm.
landscapes are just very drab,
Well,
and
it's
there's like
funny.
not a whole lot
We're in
going on.
Fairytopia. We're like we're supposed to be in this magical, like beautiful, lush, like world, and instead it's just bare bones and drab.
Yeah. They just didn't have
Yeah,
time to put anything else into the environment.
yeah. They should have done the painted backdrops like they did in the earlier movies.
Yeah, there is a moment when she's at Azura's house and the door is literally just a painting.
Oh,
So she like
I didn't
flies
notice
it
that.
yeah, she flies in and she like flies in front of the paint. It's weird. It's just like an image. It's not like a
Huh.
an entrance into the house. It is just a picture.
Strange.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
odd.
Also, question about the fungus. Are they all named Fungus?
Yes, they are all named Fungus. It's very weird. It's very confusing.
Okay. Yeah. They don't have like individual names. They're
No,
just
so when Laverna calls, they all respond
Mhm.
as Fungus. Then I guess in the later ones we have the main Fungus, but just not in this one.
Yeah. Weird. Maybe it's because like they're modeled off of fungus and mushrooms, and fungus are all like connected. Um, but they probably didn't think it that.
I don't think so. Yeah. So we've got a scene where they're being chased by these birds who are just minions,
Firebirds.
firebirds who are
They
minions
look like
of Laverna,
Pokemon.
but like very low poly,
Yeah, yeah. It's like a
very low
really
detail.
badly rendered like Moltres.
So they're being chased, and Hugh decides to kind of trick them and fly in front of like a wall, and then he flies up, and one of them just nails it and disintegrates, like
Yeah, yeah, it just
just
explodes into a million pieces.
dead.
Yeah, like oh god, you
Like it
killed
was
that
almost like
thing.
shattering glass.
Yeah, I was
I
really startled by that.
I don't know what these firebirds are made of, but they just
Y-
shatter when
Yeah, like
they hit a wall.
if it was fire, you'd expect it to like explode almost or like burn up. But yeah, it kind of you're right, it shatters like glass, which
Yeah.
was strange.
Yeah. That thing just dies.
And Hugh goes, "Bravo!
We just murdered that thing. Did you see
We did
that?
it. I'm so cool."
Yeah. You watch me just kill that
Um,
firebird.
uh-huh.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then we
And
fly
then
to where Prince Nalu is, and
yeah,
he is
I
barely in this
forgot.
movie.
Yeah, he's more in Mermaidia again, but I forgot how much of a player he is.
Oh yeah,
Like
he's
he's
going after these ladies. He's got his
yeah.
side pieces here when he's hanging out.
Yeah,
Today
he's
is
got
what
two
they call
mermaids.
perfect. And he's hanging out with his two ladies. And then as soon as
Uh-huh.
Alina shows up, he is just awestruck by Alina.
Uh-huh. He's like, fuck those bitches. Alina
Going
is
after you.
yeah. Yeah, they have to like go underwater for some reason, and there's this scene where he just like they're swimming together and he just stares at her longingly.
Yeah. He Alina is the only one that gets any help while swimming. The rest of them just swim. Like Hugh
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bibble, no help.
Sorry guys.
Yeah,
You're not hot.
you're on your own. Did you
Yeah.
notice that the same voice actor who did Nalu did Julian?
Oh, I recognized his voice. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're totally right. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. He's hardly in it, but still makes an impression.
They just had to set him up for Mermaidia and for Bibble to make some comments about
Oh yeah.
Nalu and Alina together.
Like boobly doo.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something.
You know what that means.
Yeah, because Alina can apparently understand Bibble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She learned Bibblese.
I finally found a couple of words for Bibble,
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
of common phrases.
What do
We
we got?
have yippee doo, which means
Okay.
hooray.
Oh.
Then we have on this site they say Alina poop for Alina.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, Alina poop. Then we've
Uh-huh.
got a nighty night Dizzle poop, which
Oh, is that
is
his
good
GF?
night for Dizzle, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
That's in another movie. Dizzle shows up. Then we have Abadabba Doo for explanation.
What is he, the Flintstones now?
Yeah, I don't know. And then we have Nuh-uh for no way.
Oh God, great. Well, thank you for that.
So there's some common phrases
Mm-hmm.
if you were at all curious. And I had to use the Wayback Machine for that. The wiki
What?
removed that. So I had to look back because now all it says is Bibble's language is officially known as Biblingo.
Oh,
It doesn't,
Biblingo.
yeah,
Okay.
Biblingo, not Bibblese.
Okay.
But
I'm glad I know.
yeah, they removed that from the wiki. So you have to use the Wayback Machine to get that
My
information.
God, why are they censoring Bibble?
I don't know. I don't know why they don't want me to have this knowledge.
They don't
Yeah.
want us to learn Biblingo.
So when we get to the woods that that Alina is trying to get to, this is finally when Hugh is affected by this poison. It really seems like they're just going in waves, just
Yeah,
dumping
but
it
he
in
can
random
still
locations.
fly.
Yeah, but he is still able to fly. It's noticeably more difficult, but he could still do it if you don't care about Hugh's well-being in any way, which I do not. Just make him
Actually,
fly.
don't.
Just make him continue to fly. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him.
And then in this moment when they land and Alina decides to go off and try and find the dryad, she kisses Hugh and it is incredibly uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because Hugh is definitely into it. Like,
Yeah, he definitely has a crush on her. It's very uncomfortable.
and right before she kisses him, she's just like, "Oh, it's what friends do." And she kisses him. It's like, is that what friends do?
Yeah. Well,
I,
I don't
yeah,
think he took it as a friends, a just friends thing.
yeah. In this moment, though, she's able to dump off both Bibble and Hugh, which is incredible.
Nice. Yeah, good for her.
Unfortunately, she finds two more absolutely disgusting creatures. These
Mm.
little elf dwarf things.
The subtitles called them trolls. So,
Trolls. Okay. They're
yeah.
okay. Trolls.
They look like bobble-headed children, but then they have adult voices.
I thought they were evil. I really thought. I thought that they were somehow the fungus in disguise and that they were going to
Oh,
lead Alina somewhere and then kidnap her. Like, they do not look like good characters.
they don't look
They
trustworthy.
look, yeah, they look evil.
Yeah, they look like these. I thought they were going to be these little tricksters who were going to like lead her in circles and like get her lost.
But no,
Which it
they
seems kind of like they're doing, but
right at the end, Alina does think that, but then
Mhm.
the dryad just shows up. She's just there. She was just
Yeah, and
hiding.
also the trolls are forced, maybe cursed, to speak only in rhymes. They have to rhyme with each other. At one point, one of them goes, "Of course," and then the other one goes, "Snuff blorse," because they have to.
They
And then they're
contractually
like,
obligated.
I guess, and they were gonna tell Elena like where to find the dryad, and then Elena's just like, shut up, like do not speak, just show me.
I'm done with this. Just
Keep rhyming at her.
oh. Yeah, Fairytopia is unmatched in terms of having these nasty side characters. You've got Bibble, you've got Hugh, you've got these little trolls,
The
the
fungus.
fungus. It's bad. I hate this world.
Yeah, like, get me out of here.
Yeah, it's Barbie movies have a lot of those characters, but I feel like they are really concentrated here.
They are. There's so many.
But Alina finds
They're-
the dryad, that being Dahlia, and Dahlia had previously worked for Laverna before she realized that Laverna was evil. She didn't realize beforehand.
I mean, how can you not tell?
I don't know if she was good before and changed, but
Maybe.
yeah. And then she doesn't want to help originally, but then, Alina says a couple of things and then she's fine. Like, all right.
Like, okay, all right.
It's like, I don't
Sounds
want to
good.
help.
I'm
I don't
in.
want to help the Guardians because they didn't accept me when I decided to leave Laverna, because they already knew that Laverna was evil. But
Yeah.
it was only Azura that wanted to help out Dahlia.
Do it for Azura.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Do it for Azura. Fuck all these other Guardians.
Yeah, whatever. What about Ruby, though? He's so great.
Yeah, Ruby is a legend.
Do it for Ruby.
So then Dahlia decides to help. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fly to Laverna's area, which is like a cactus land.
Yeah, I guess it's a cactus.
Because cactuses are evil.
Cactus. No, what's evil is green.
Yes, green, the color, is the most evil color.
Yeah. Because it happens in later Barbie
villains
movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Green means evil for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what does it say about me that my favorite color is green?
My favorite color is also green. I guess we're both evil.
Yep. Them's the rules.
Yep, apparently.
So Alina is gonna sneak into the Laverna's lair, I guess, where she's keeping all the guardians. So she's trying to sneak past the fungus, but then the fungus are about to see her. So then her friends all appear out of nowhere and like distract the fungus. Like
again, Hugh is able to fly.
Yeah, the sickness don't do shit.
Yeah, it just makes it slightly more annoying to fly.
Yeah, I guess. And then Bibble has this whole really fun chase scene with
Very fun.
Yeah, and by fun I mean insufferable. Chase scene with a fungus. And there's one point where like Bibble is flying around him and then appears under his legs, and the fungus looks down, and then Bibble like wiggles his eyebrows suggestively. It was made me uncomfortable.
Bibble on screen makes me uncomfortable.
But
then he got captured, which is very satisfying.
Like immediately after, too. It was satisfying.
I just wanted him to stay in that cage forever.
Yeah, can you just keep him in there?
Yeah, I wish.
If only.
Yeah, all the friends get kidnapped. Hugh gets kidnapped as well because apparently he finally wasn't able to fly anymore.
Oh, rip. But then Alina makes it into the lair.
Yes.
But there's like a million stairs to get up to this room where the Guardians are being held. Like, it should take her hours to climb up all those stairs.
She's just so used to walking because she doesn't have wings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's just able to do it.
I guess so.
Yeah, when she gets up there, Laverna offers her wings in exchange for giving the necklace that she was given by Azura back so that Laverna can get the power from all of the necklaces. And she was just put in a trance by getting these wings.
She's like, hell yeah.
I don't know if that was because of Laverna specifically or just because Alina wanted the wings so badly that...
Maybe it was a combination. It was unclear.
Yeah. And she is under this trance long enough to put the necklace back for the power to go into Laverna's chair to start the process of sucking all the power out. But luckily...
And it's also this like giant rainbow too that blasts over.
But luckily, all Azura has to say is, for the friends you haven't met yet, and that works. And
snaps her out of it.
Yeah, she just thinks back to that sad table It's like, oh yeah, the table setting, yes.
Of course.
And then
Yep, that's all it takes.
she remembers that she has the way to. She figured out how to the destroy the what even is it called? The inflection point or something?
The Union
The
Point.
union point, yes.
Just like, what kind of sci-fi shit is this?
She realizes, oh, that's the union point where this gem is that all of the power is going into. So
Uh-huh.
she throws the necklace at it.
Yes.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
throws the necklace at it and it blows up and it kills Laverna.
Yeah, it just like destroys her. The rainbow like hits her and just blasts her.
Like disintegrate, she's gone. Just
Hmm.
her staff is left, and then her staff disappears too. So
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, she does come back in Barbie Mermaidia, so she's not actually dead.
yeah, that's true.
I know you were worried about her.
I was worried. Yes. Well, and before Mermaidia, when this was just the new one, people thinking that she just got destroyed.
Yeah, straight up murdered by a
You think
rainbow.
the Firebird is also there? Do you think the Firebird just got sent to the
Yeah,
other
maybe
area?
just sends them to like a hell dimension, to purgatory.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So Alina
Yeah.
saves the
So.
day and saves
Woo.
all of the Guardians.
Yeah, and
And
now
so
all the
when
bitchy fairies like her again.
yeah,
Or that's
she's
all
the
it took.
hero. And then at the end, the Enchantress is there and she just gives Alina wings like that was a possibility from the start. Like they can just help anybody that doesn't have wings, but they just decide not to.
No,
What
make you
is up with
suffer.
that?
Yeah, like the Enchantress had the power to give Alina wings the entire time, but just didn't.
Like, couldn't they set up a process where for anyone who is who unfortunately was born without wings, that they can just go in and get wings? I
Yeah, that would be nice. Or is it just this one necklace that can have that power? Because the Enchantress gives her a magic necklace that gives her wings. So maybe
theoretically
there's
she could
only
just make
one.
more of them.
Yeah, theoretically.
Just seems like a bit of a dick
All
move.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't think about it, but you're right. Um, she could have just, well, maybe Alina is the only wingless fairy,
I
but
guess
still,
so.
she could have given her the necklace earlier.
Yeah. I guess she was sick or weak
Oh,
from
yeah.
but Alina's been alive this whole time. She's been living her life without wings.
Maybe the Enchantress didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be an Enchantress apologist, but trying to make it make sense.
I guess it all
But
depends on
her,
if there are more wingless fairies out there or not.
yeah. And now Elena's new wings are the biggest, like most glittery pink wings ever. Like they're way bigger than Dandelion's wings and like everybody else's, except Hugh.
Yeah, Hugh. Well, because Hugh is just massive
Yeah.
and scary. Yeah, now she can bully everybody else.
Yeah. The
Get
bitchy
back at
fairies
them.
have to be nice.
Yeah.
So she won't
Or the
destroy them.
pixies or whoever.
Whatever.
The small ones and the big
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I don't love how her disability was just magically fixed in the end, too. Like it was cool to have a like main disabled character and who just like is able to do her thing and save the world. And then it just kind of like it feels like a cop out to just be like, okay, here's your wings. You're fixed now,
Yeah.
you know?
You save the world. Here you go.
Yep.
But they had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. They
There's
had
no
to give
way
her
they
the pretty
weren't
fairy
going to
wings.
do that. There's no way they were just going to end that movie with her still not having wings. I could not imagine a world where they did that.
No. No, and they have to sell dolls. Like they have to sell
Yep,
the
with the
Alina
wings.
fairy doll with the wings.
Yeah, but
Of
and she's not
course.
a fairy without the wings.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting.
Ew.
And that's Barbie Fairytopia.
Yeah.
Man, I did not remember this movie being as bad as
Yeah,
it
me either.
was.
It was not great.
Specifically, I didn't remember Hugh at all, and Hugh definitely drags this movie down several notches. I knew that Bibble was
Yeah.
here. I was prepared for Bibble. Bibble was just as annoying as I was expecting. Everything that comes out of his mouth is incredibly annoying. I wondered throughout the movie if Alina was just pretending to understand Bibble and just going along with his shit. Like, because there were a couple
It's
of
like, yeah,
moments
yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh.
when he is saying things and Alina just straight up doesn't get it. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. She's just humoring him.
yeah. Bibble is insufferable. I hate Hugh. Uh, yeah, the fungus are gross.
Yeah, and the whole like villain's plan is so convoluted. It
Doesn't,
just
yeah,
like doesn't
it
make
doesn't,
sense.
yeah, it doesn't work. Some of the stuff doesn't need to be there. It's only there so that the plot can move forward. Because if
Mm-hmm.
she needs to get the necklaces, but then she also needs to do this poison just so that there's a reason for Alina to be the one to save everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was noticeable without a celebrity voice actor. Like Laverna's voice actor does a fine enough job. When you're coming off of Preminger and you've got the Mouse King in there, it is definitely noticeable that
Yeah.
Laverna just isn't on the level that the rest of those villains are at.
Yeah, she's fine. But yeah, when you put her up against Preminger, she's like, wow, you can't compete
And
with
you're
that.
coming right after Preminger too. Right at
Mm-hmm.
I think it does not help Fairytopia that it comes right after Princess and the Pauper, which is one of the best Barbie movies out there.
Yeah, S tier.
And it just completely nosedives here with
Mm-hmm.
Fairytopia. Like
Yeah.
I like the banter between the Guardians and Laverna and her lair. I found that fun. The rest of it was there wasn't much else that I particularly enjoyed.
Yeah, I guess I liked Elena's whole like at the beginning she thinks she's kind of nothing. I'm just a wingless fairy. I can't do anything. But then she realizes that she is powerful and she can accomplish great things. So there was a nice character arc there. But again, cop out with just giving her wings at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that is there. Yeah, I don't like the other side characters. I think the world is incredibly drab. The villain
Hmm.
isn't as interesting as past villains, and her plan doesn't really make any sense. Yeah,
Doesn't have much going for it.
yeah, and Fairytopia is one of the more well-known Barbie movies, and it's the one of the ones that I remember, Fairytopia.
Yeah.
So it's surprising that upon rewatching it, it was as bad as it was
Hmm. At least Bibble's memorable.
in some ways.
It gets stuck in your brain.
Ugh, and he'll be back. Don't you worry.
Yep,
Bibble comes back
with a
for multiple
vengeance.
movies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
was I was
so
definitely disappointed with Fairytopia. There's just a
me
lot that
too.
didn't make any sense or was just outright annoying.
I expected more from Fairytopia.
So let's get into that ranking. Where I was having a hard time with this one. It's
Yeah, I
definitely
put it
on the
at
bottom rungs. I was hopping between a D and an E.
yeah, I put it at a D, but I could also put it at an E. It was it was bad.
We don't have a regular Barbie movie at an E rank. Our worst one
Mm.
so far is Swan Lake at a D.
Do you think it's worse than Swan Lake?
Some of the characters are for sure more annoying.
And hideous.
and yeah, disgusting. I think I might. There's just nothing I really liked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put it at an E.
I'm
Sorry,
hoping that
Fairytopia.
Mermaidia will redeem Fairytopia.
I think it will. I have very, very good memories of Mermaidia.
Yeah, Fairytopia was not it.
Mm-mm.
It was not it.
And the villain, I gave her a D, but what do you
Yeah,
think?
I think a D fits Laverna. She is
Mm-hmm.
fine. Not
She's
particularly
mid.
memorable. Has a couple of funny moments, but her plan doesn't make any sense. And when you put her next to the other villains, it just is not. She just doesn't compare.
Yeah, she doesn't stand out.
But it was going to be hard because the
Mm-hmm.
other villains were such standouts that Laverna just wasn't going to be able to live up.
Yeah, maybe if we'd seen her first, we would have given her a better rating.
Yeah. And then animal sidekicks, they're all Fs. I hate them all.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I
Yep.
hate Bibble. I hate Hugh. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, I think Bibble's the main sidekick here, right?
yeah. He's there for the whole
Definitely
movie.
F. Yeah. Hate everything about him. Super annoying. He's supposed to be cute.
And he is
Like,
just not.
yeah, there's something with Barbie movies where they try really hard to make these cute animal sidekicks characters and they fail so miserably. Like especially with this one. Like
He's not
he's
cute in any way. His look isn't cute. The way he sounds isn't cute.
mhm. Like he's supposed to be he's a puffball. He's just this tiny little puff with wings and you like hearing that you're like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cute. I could see how that could be adorable." But then yeah, in theory maybe, but then when you see it, it's anything but.
Yeah, it he just makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, the way he sounds, I don't know, like the way his like mouth moves and his big teeth and
Yeah, the big teeth are very unsettling. It's to eat all the Captain Crunch
yeah,
berries.
it's all yeah, to eat the berries or goo or whatever.
Yeah. The massive eyelashes too.
Yeah, not great. His
Mhm.
weird purple hair.
Mhm. Ah, yes, yes, F tier
Yeah, and when the
for
rest of the
Bibble.
world is acting like Bibble is so cute, and then you're sitting here knowing that Bibble is not cute and is actually incredibly annoying, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, it's like, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing?
Like why is Alina putting up with Bibble right now? Like why is he still here?
It's the great mystery of the Fairytopia universe.
Yeah, why Alina decides to put up with his shit?
I'll never
Why does she
know.
put up with Hugh's shit? Ugh.
Well,
I guess
maybe
Hugh can actually help her.
yeah, yeah, and she can understand you.
Hugh does speak in English.
Like I was thinking there's a point early in the movie where Dandelion talks about her mom, like Dandelion's
Right.
mom worrying about her. And so I was like, okay, so Dandelion has a mom, but Alina seems to be an orphan.
But she
She's
doesn't
got
mention it at all.
no.
But there's just no mention of her
Yeah.
parents, and she appears to be the same age as Dandelion. So you'd think if she did have parents, they'd be around.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe like Bibble, this is sad, but maybe Bibble's the only family she has. So she just
Maybe
kind of puts up with it. She's like, well, he's all I got.
he's family, I guess.
Yeah. That's my theory.
Yeah, Bibble's nasty. Hugh is
Mhm.
nasty. I might hate Hugh more than Bibble,
Yeah, I
which
think
I
I
was
do
not
too.
expecting. But if Bibble's looks are disgusting, Hugh is just I can't even look at him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why I don't remember him. I think I just blocked him out.
Just let's not remember him. He's not
Yeah.
necessary.
He's not in the other movies, so thank God.
Yeah, I do not need
I
to
don't
see
think so.
any more of Hugh.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't make an appearance.
I don't remember. I didn't remember him in this, and I don't remember him in anything else. So hopefully this is it.
Yeah.
Let's get into some trivia and little goofs before we wrap things up for this episode. So, like we mentioned at the start, this is the first Barbie movie that is not based on any other property. And it is also the first one that kind of sets up a universe slash like a line of movies, because you have Fairytopia and Mermaidia, and they're all kind of in this same universe. So this is the first this is the first Barbie movie that kind of sets up a universe with multiple movies within one series.
I think they might have taken on too much
A
this
little too
one.
much. This is the first Barbie movie to not contain in, of, or as in the title,
Wow. It's
because the other
just
ones are
Barbie
Barbie
Fairytopia.
in this. I mix them all up. I don't know which one's which, but
Yeah.
Barbie as Rapunzel, Barbie in the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
This one's just
It's
Barbie
not
Fairytopia.
it's not Barbie as the Nutcracker.
No, it is not. First Barbie movie to not have a celebrity voice. This is the first time that Ken doesn't appear.
Yeah, we got Nalu instead for like a
Nalu's-
second.
Yeah, he's barely in it.
I'm fine with that.
Apparently, Laverna says there are 7 regions in Fairytopia, and on the old Fairytopia website, there was a game called Decorating Fairytopia where you can decorate all 7 regions, which
Oh my
includes the
gosh, I
Magic
want to
Meadow,
play.
Mermaidia, Laverna's Lair, and the Crystal Palace. So there are
Wow. Can we
7.
still play that?
I have no idea. I did not check the Fairytopia website from 2005.
Well, I know what I'm doing after we stop recording.
As for goofs, there is the goof that I caught where there were only 4 guardians at one point, but then when Azura shows up, there are 6 of them.
Good catch.
Apparently, there are a few goofs with Azura's necklace. When she gives it to Alina, she is seen wearing it again after she's kidnapped. Also, during the travel to find Dahlia, Alina is also sometimes seen without Azura's necklace, even though she's supposed to be wearing it the whole time. I didn't notice that.
Oh my gosh, me either. What did she do with it? Gave it to
Also,
Bibble.
Alina can be briefly seen wearing it long before she meets Azura when she runs to check Bibble after he catches the seed pod.
What? I did not notice that.
Wow. All right. And then when the Guardian Fairies are all kidnapped, some of them are seen not wearing the necklaces, Topaz and Ruby.
Oh.
They lost theirs. And then when rainbow rays start appearing from the Guardian seats, in one scene, the order is incorrect. The purple ray comes from Ruby, the red Guardian. Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
So there are your goofs from Fairytopia.
Oh, thank you. I have a fun fact to add.
Okay.
I noticed at the beginning when they were doing the little credits, this one's written by Elise Allen, who has written many of the Barbie movies, the early ones, and Diane Duane, who is a fantasy writer, and I grew up reading her books.
Wow, and she wrote Fairytopia, or helped write,
yeah,
co-write.
yeah.
Does she want that on a resume now, or?
I wouldn't. But she wrote the Young Wizards YA fantasy series, and the first one was So You Want to Be a Wizard, which I read like multiple times growing up, and I loved it. And, you know, seeing that credit gives me hope that I can one day write a Barbie movie. That would be a big dream of mine, because I write a lot of like YA. So if Diane Duane could write a Barbie movie, maybe there's hope for me too.
Who do you
Maybe
think
someday.
wrote Hugh's lines?
Oh,
I hope that if you ever write a Barbie movie, you have the power to veto any of the disgusting animal characters.
Yeah, be gone, Hugh.
I do not need you in this world.
I would hope I would write a better movie than this one.
I would hope so. They only have so much time. They pump these out so much.
Yeah, that's true. You're kind of on a time crunch. I don't blame the writers here. Like, I'm sure there was a lot for you to cram into this movie.
Because this one, unlike the other movies that came out in October and September, this one came out in March. So there was even less time in between Princess and the Pauper, which came out in September of 2004, and Fairytopia, which came out in March of 2005. That's like half a year
Okay. That
to crank
explains.
this movie out.
Yeah. That's starting to check out.
Why there's some issues here.
Mm-hmm,
But that's Fairytopia,
mm-hmm.
the first Barbie movie of Barbie the Princess and the Podcast to get an E rank. We got no Fs yet.
Not yet.
Fairytopia was close.
I'm sure there will be one.
So that's going to be it for this episode of the podcast. On next month's episode, we're going to be diving back into My Scene. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Bringing it back for the final 2 episodes of our My Scene coverage. The first being My Scene Goes Hollywood, and then we're going to watch that awful My Scene web series. So
I'm so excited.
Look forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So a couple of months off from Barbie before we hop back in with Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. So look forward to more My Scene action before we get back into Barbie. And then it'll just be Barbie from there on out for a while. It'll be a lot of Barbie once My Scene is finished.
All right, get those out of the way.
Yep. So we're here on the first Monday of every month. We're on any podcast streaming service that you may use. You can follow us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, so that you can be notified when the next episode of the podcast is up. We have a video version of the podcast as well. That's on YouTube at The Princess and the Podcast. So you can check that out there if you want to see the video version of the podcast.
If you want to follow our podcast on social media, we are at The Princess and the Podcast on Instagram and at Barbie Podcast on Twitter. Our email is theprincessandthepodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to follow me, Briana, I'm at Briana Valleen on Instagram and Twitter. Briana spelled Briana, Valleen, Vallene.
And I'm also on Twitter at Kevin Valleen, so you can find me there. So until next month, when we dive back into the My Scene universe, peace.